Hello. Well. Hello, my lovely little jack-o'-lanterns, and welcome to yet another Sirens Call audiobook live stream. So, today is going to be an extremely short one. It's not going to be an hour. It's not going to be 30 minutes. It's going to be maybe 20 minutes. It's very short. I was going to actually plan to do two Sirens Call streams today. This little chapter 17, and then as well as chapter 18 and 19. That will be like over an hour. And I mean, I'll just probably do that one tomorrow, honestly. So this one, we're sticking with just a short one today, chapter 17. So we're on page 441 in the book, on chapter 17 of the Sirens Call. So if you want to figure out what has happened, you can go watch the other live streams of the Sirens Call audiobook series to get caught up with the story. If you do understand what's happening, you can just read the description in the live stream right now. So 5 likes, 4 people. Is this all my girlfriend? Are all these people? Ew, oh, okay. Cool. Nice. Okay, chat's working. Cool. All right. Hi. Hello. Third person. Hi. So I'll get this started in a second. I got to adjust the volume because sometimes it can be a little wonky. Okay. So last time the characters went to Portugal, Spain to meet with a lovely pope, and it was 1681. So now it is still 1681, April. So they went to go meet the Pope Alexandria the 13th of Spain and Austria, and we all know how that went. They tried to get a letter of marque to trade with him, but instead they fought their way out with muskets. And there was this huge fight through the Spanish town. So basically, yeah, that is honestly one of my favorite. Oh my God. Honestly, one of my favorite sections of the book. I'm sorry. I'm quite parched, lads. All right. I'm good. So, yeah, just check out the other streams if you're not caught up yet. I got this. I'm hungry. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy the stream. Also, I'm sorry if the thumbnails kind of are weird. I'm trying to put thumbnails that are at least somewhat relevant to like a section in the chapter we're doing. So like for this one, I put a 17th century like couple because it's like these two guys in this chapter talking about women. Right. Daniel asked for advice about women with Henry or something. So I just try to have like a decent amount of thumbnails that kind of go with what's happening in the chapter of the stream. So sorry if they're a bit strange. But yeah. So here we go. We'll start in a minute. One sec. Sorry. All right. You guys are all caught up and ready to go. Let's listen to chapter 17. And this still takes place, by the way, in part 9 of the series, of the story. All right. So it was April 1681 on the Golden Bough en route to GreenLand, which is their second location. April came on quickly. Warm wind whipped at my face as I stood by the wheel as Marquis steered his ship towards our next destination. We left the letters of marque from Denmark in Spain in our cabin, kept neatly folded inside our leather bags underneath our crimson beds. Below the deck, I gazed down from up the wheel with Jeb and Marquis as Jeb was behind us, reading some maps and crossing it with a 2-point triangular compass across the lines of the waterways and trade routes to see Brita chattering happily with Eleanor and Timothy, but they were too far away from earshot to hear what was being said.
Daniel was busy securing the cannon, strapping them down with ropes as he crossed the deck shirtless, with a steaming pipe in his lips. Finn and Carr were up in the shrouds of the mainmast, giving enough sail to the wind, while a few Frenchmen scrambled along the tall beams high above, balancing their footing. The French crew worked rigorously through the heat across the deck, under the deck in the cannon holes and deep where the crates of supplies lay, and the heat enveloped the water in the air till he was sweating as much as rain. It was a fairly warm day today, and the sun was high into the bright blue sky, casting down heat upon our bodies. As I stared from the wheel, watching Brita with a contented smile on my face, she looked up at me, swayed, smiled, blew me a kiss, and continued the conversation. "I marked it correctly, I'm sure," Jeb muttered behind me. I turned around, passing by Marquis, his red cap fluttering in the warm wind, his purple coat swaying at his back, and he gripped the hard golden wheel. "You marked what? What is our route of passage? What are the longitudes and latitudes?" Marquis asked. I stood by Jeb, placing my hands on both of my hips, pushing my long hair from my face as it fell in my eyes, and eyed the big spread-out yellow map. Jeb had drawn and traced with a piece of charcoal across the map the trade routes along the finishing Greenland seas. The 2-point compass, Spectacle, laid at his left hand. He picked it up and ran it along the line until it swerved to the left and straight to the country of Greenland. After swerve, it was a lot of open water, a big chunk that we had to sail through. "What is the heading?" Marquis shouted at us from the wheel. "So, we must take a left, right? Southeast, towards the sun, which is at..." I trailed off thinking. Jeb pointed at the sun in the sky. "It's noon. We turn the ship southeast, reaching left. Latitude is 34 nauticals." "True so," I said, looking at the sun. "Longitude 57 degrees east. Latitude 34, longitude 57, veer east," I said to Mark. "Veering east-south," Marquis howled at the crew in the shrouds. "East-south," called a French sailor up in the mainmast. Marquis steered the wheel starboard and turned the ship to the left in the waters. The ship creaked and groaned, bashing into the waves as the crystal blue ruffled up in the sunlight. "Head forward! Fluff the sails!" Marquis screamed. I watched Daniel scurry across the deck, assisting with the rope flapping down from the mainmast and wrapping around the wooden beam tight. Finn and Carr and the few other black slaves were up in the black and red sails, giving it room to fly. Jeb looked up from the map. "Blanche to port side! Heave those sails! Heave like you're being paid for it!" The French crew cackled over the sea wind as it rippled, and the sail further out as the blanket was straight and true, and the Golden Bough caught the wind. "We're heading for Greenland, men! We pushed through the warm air!" Marquis hacked down from the wheel. The French crew gave Marquis a nod and worked harder across the polished wooden deck. I walked down from the head wheel and crossed the deck to Brita. When she saw me approaching, she smiled happily and took me in her arms. "How is my lovely pirate?" "Your lovely pirate is as good as ever," I smiled. "What course did we change?" Tim asked with his arms wrapped around Eleanor's dress. "We veered east-south port side, heading 57-34 east," I said. "Oh, good. I recognize we were heading a little off course. Looks like Jeb got us back on course," Tim said. Jeb was an excellent map reader and a cartographer, and not only that, a master at navigating the waters near Finland. "What's in Greenland?" asked Eleanor. Tim and me gave each other a look of, this may not go well. "It's a cold country full of dark, rugged mountains and hills with lots of warm taverns." "I love taverns, mostly the ale that resides in the barrels," Eleanor grinned. "Don't we all?" Brita laughed. I heard boots clatter across the deck. Cortez walking quickly up to Marquis, carrying a piece of parchment. "Cortez, would it be?" I asked. "A manifest of all these ships' holdings and barrels under the deck. It's hot down there, amigo. Been counting all the wine, spice, brandy, rice, and gum," he said as he walked by. He darted up the steps and spread it out for Marquis to see and read. As Jeb took a hold of the ship, Marquis read the manifest of our supplies, and it reminded me of what Samuel had me and Daniel do when we were aboard our old English ship 3 years ago. Samuel had us gather and record manifests of all the supplies aboard her hold, and we'd have to report the findings to him by the end of the day, to make sure everything was accounted for. I missed the old man. Across the deck, Daniel ushered me to come over to his side as he finished holding down a big black cannon. "I'll be back," I told my love. "Be quick," she said happily. I quickly walked across the deck, walking under the flapping big white sails. Daniel just stopped wrapping the wheat rope around the cannon. He had a smoking pipe steaming between his lips, with white smoke piling up from the top. "Here, smoke with me," he said. He tossed me an extra pipe from his pocket. I caught it, holding it in both my hands. The pipe was thin, light, made from polished oak. It had a black stem, and as it traveled to the front of the pipe hole, it turned brown. You have an extra pipe? I asked. Of course, just in case I lost this one. He muttered at the one between his mouth. I lit a match from the ship's rim and put it in the hole, lighting the tobacco that lay in the hole. I puffed, sucking in the air from the steam tip, letting the smoke hit my tongue, and then blowing it out to catch it, to get it to catch. It went aflame and lit orange embers, caught to the plant. I tossed the thin match into the water, and we both leaned against the side of the ship, side by side, puffing white smoke into the air and blowing it through our noses. I watched Brita, still enchanted with the talk with Eleanor about medicines and herbal teas. The ship carried us rapidly on as the crew still worked with barrels from under the deck and bringing them up from below. Daniel was about to ask a question with his mouth open, taking the pipe from it. And then he put the pipe back in, like he didn't want to ask it. Yes, I asked. What? He asked me. You looked like you were going to say something, I said. He paused for a second and spoke with the pipe between his lips. How do you, go about securing a lassie? Securing a lassie, I asked. Why? How do you get a lady? He asked. How do you go about that? I don't follow, I said. Dan sighed. You and Brita fell for each other like swallows. How'd you get that? He jabbed a thumb to Brita. Are you surprised? I snickered. Boy, I, a bit, eh? When we went to the tavern in Norway, you two danced, talked, and went back to her place. How do I get that? He asked. You mean how you want that? I asked. Look, say we go to a tavern or a market, yeah? We are looking at all the glittery jewels and gems bestowed upon the fabrics of those stands. I spot a lassie, beautiful, elegant, built like horse hips, yeah? He said, making a sign and pointing to his chest, rounding his hands like he was touching breasts. I know what you're saying. I said, wanting him to stop making that sign. Correct. Say she's looking at a real nice jade jewel that she wants, but can't afford it, Daniel said. Don't you want to fuck her or court her, I asked. Both, he said. How do I get to the fuckery? I get to the fuckery, but then they leave. I don't quite understand it. It's because you're searching on whores, not real ladies. Brita there, I pointed my pipe at her. A beautiful lady, smart, beautiful, warm-hearted. What's not to like? We need to go for a right woman. Right woman? I don't follow, he said. I took the pipe from my mouth. It's still smoking warm from the burning plant. I faced him. Let's go back to the marketplace again. Beautiful women, you see? Yeah? What's in that jade brooch, aye? To get to the fuckery, first you must court her. How do I court her? He asked. Buy her the brooch. Tell her she looks beautiful in her clothing. Take her to dinner, a tavern to get a drink. Don't rush things, Danny. Take your time. Then you'll get sex. And then she'll love you. And you'll get the love you've been wanting from a lady, I said. So, I just have to buy her something shiny and we're set? Daniel asked. Not exactly. That is one way to do it, but just court her. Treat her accordingly, as if you want to be treated by a lady, I told him. I see it now. Maybe I could get a lassie in GreenLand, he asked. Perhaps, I laughed, dumping the finished plant out of its pipe hole and coughing from the smoke in my lungs. You know, Henry, you're younger than me, but you know more about women than I ever did when I was your age, he said. Well, you know a lot about other assortments that I don't, I smiled. Agreed, he cackled. He continued to smoke his after fitting it back up and striking another match to puff more smoke. Daniel was a man that only wanted what he craved at the moment, but he's never patient with anything. I'm trying to do my regards and best to educate him on the matter of love and romance with a lady, while he teaches me the brawler of a sword and musket aim. If there's one thing Danny does know, is how to fight. Henry! Marquis called from the wheelhouse. May I acquire the 2 letters of marque we have thus far? Sir! I shouted back up to him. I nodded to Daniel, who was still smoking his pipe. Walk with me. Me and Dan strided across the deck and walked down the underdeck to our cabin. We traced down the narrow hallway and opened the cabin door into our empty bedroom. The slave servants had made the beds neatly and folded the sheets. As I walked to my leather bag, Daniel said, You think it'll be as difficult to get this letter in GreenLand than the one in Spain? I pray not. GreenLand is littered with whorehouses, like the port of it. A powerful earl lives there and owns most of them, so maybe he will not care to give us it. I said. I crouched and reached under my bed, pushing Brita's bag aside and grabbing a hold of mine and sliding it out. I unclipped it and pulled out the 2 letters of marque folded neatly together. We left the cabin, through the hallway, up the deck stairs and up to the wheel. I handed Marquis the 2 letters as he spread them about on the table next to him on the top deck. Seagulls cried in the air, the waves smashed at the ship's sides, and the wind howled in our ears. He pointed his finger at each. The one in Denmark is signed. Van de Valida, governor of the Dutch East India Trading Company of the Dutch Republic in Corinne. All the other ones, with the other one, signed by our gracious Spanish Pope, reads Pope de Leon de Alexandria XIII of our humble and beloved Catholic Church, under the order and the liberty of his sovereign nation, the Pope of Spain. They're accurate, Marquis muttered. Why, they seem in order. What are we facing in Greenland? Jeb asked. I turned and looked out to sea. Greenland is littered with poorhouses and disgusting marks of sex throughout the country, but the capital, in which we are heading to, is the center of it. An earl owns them, right? Asked Dan. Ah, yes, an earl. He will be the king of most of these places, so we have to be careful and tread lightly with women in this town, I said. You taking her love with you on the land? Asked Jeb. Aye, I said. She is my love, and I want her with me. I didn't want Brita feeling unsafe on board, and as well, she would not be happy with me heading into multiple whorehouses full of lustful women. She was my heart, and I am a loyal man to her. I love her with all of my beating heart and will protect her with my life. Agreed. Change course to west-north from a front side broad, Jim cried. West-north front, Marquis hacked at his French crew as he steered the boat into the northern wind. Make way for Greenland! I yelled over the wind and smiled at Brita from at the top of the wheel, getting a smile back from her. The French crew howled with the wind, whistling, laughing, and cheering, knowing where would we be going. And even though there was only half of us left up to Spain, we held fast and strong, and we didn't give up. Onward, we sailed for the second letter of Marque.
All right, so that was chapter 17. So it wasn't even 20 minutes, Jesus. Well, yeah, sorry that this was a super duper short stream. Usually they're not this short. But I just wanted to get like a quick short little section into the stream today. But yeah, so tomorrow I'll probably do the Greenland stream, and that will be obviously like an hour or more. So just stay tuned for that. I don't really know what time I'll be doing it at. It just depends on my schedule. But I will try to at least get it sometime in tomorrow. So thank you for joining this short little stream today. Remember to leave a like. Please subscribe to become a amazing jack-o'-lantern lad. And thank you for joining the stream. And I will see you guys in the next one tomorrow. See you later, guys.